What it is, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. It's a wrap, aka UD here, and today we're talking about the books that I read in January. So let's get into it. Okay, so I actually read quite a bit of books in January. I'm actually very surprised. I feel like I always start off the new year with a bang, but I'm not going to sit here and count. Let me not lie. But let's start off with the first one, and that is A Love Song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams. And I was very excited for this one. Shout out to NetGalley. They had this like a couple months ago. It was like the summertime. They did a release of this on NetGalley where you didn't have to request it from the author. You could just pick it up and read it, which I was very excited about. And I went in very, very blind because I didn't even know Tia Williams was coming out with a new book. So that was very exciting. But A Love Song for Ricki Wilde, follows Ricki. Ricki is from Atlanta and she comes from this well-to-do family who owns funeral homes, but she doesn't want to work for her family. She wants to be a florist. So she moves to Harlem to start her own florist shop, and it does really well. But while she's there, she meets this enigma. I'm going to say enigma. I don't know if that's the right word, but she's really attracted to this man and they keep running into each other and there's just this like magnetic pull to each other. I had actually a really good time with this book. I've read all of Tia Williams' catalog apart from, I haven't read Accidental Diva. So it was Tia Williams does a really good job of like pulling in characters from her past works. So it was fun seeing Ava from 7 Days in June. She's just really good at having characters make appearances in her work. And also this story really feels like a build from 7 Days in June because it has some like not references. It follow some themes of like Louisiana and hoodoo and voodoo. And in 7 Days in June, Ava is like families from Louisiana and she wants to do a story that's like talking about those roots. So it was fun seeing that theme in A Love Song for Ricki Wilde. And then another thing I actually really liked about this book as well, a lot of the time Tia Williams' books or stories are based in New York. And I think maybe because she has like that journalist background, that just the banter between the characters and how she touches on pop culture is always very seamless and it doesn't seem like contrived. Like I always like the dialogue between the characters. And it's the same for this story as well. But I did like how like she gave this old Black Harlem in these places, in these spaces. And yeah, it was just a really good read. I felt like Ricki and Ezra's like developing love story, it felt kind of fast. It did feel fast. It felt like it just kind of flew by and we didn't really get a chance to really like dig into it. And also I'm not really a big fan of insta love, so even though is it really insta love, it read that way for me. But either way, I definitely enjoyed this one more than 7 Days in June, because at times I felt like 7 Days in June dragged. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt like this book kind of dragged in the beginning, but once we learn about Ezra, it kind of picks up. And also I don't think that Ezra and Ricki were my favorite characters in this book. I think the side characters were actually my favorite. Her friendship with, I believe it's Tuesday. I really enjoyed Tuesday's character. The grandmother figure that she ends up staying with in Harlem, her story was, she was 100% my favorite character in the book. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. If you have it on your list of books to read, if you pre-order it, if you already have it on hold at the library, I think it's a good choice. I think it will be a highlight of one of the books that you read for this year. So let me move on to the next book that I read for this month, and that is This is another arc. I don't believe this one comes out until April. And this is Missing White Woman by Kellye Garrett. And this is a mystery about a character named Bree. She's from Baltimore. She's from Baltimore, I believe. And she is talking to this guy named Ty. They've been dating for like 2 or 3 months, but he like recently is doing work in like New York or New Jersey. So she goes to stay with him at this Airbnb for a week. And Ty is just kind of off. Like he's real like caught up in his work. He's not really paying attention to Bree. And she's all like, what the hell, like what was the point of me coming down here? So then like she's supposed to go back at the end of the weekend, but Ty's all like, no, stay, like I didn't give you the attention that I should have gave you. So she's like, okay, I'll stay. So she stays an extra day. She calls into work. Girl, why she say that she was going to stay an extra day with this man? Baby girl wakes up and there was a dead white woman in the Airbnb at the bottom of the floor, and Ty is nowhere to be found. Ty is on the run, child. So now she's stuck in New York. The police think that she killed this woman, and on top of that, there's this missing woman. There's this missing woman that could possibly be the dead woman in the living room of her Airbnb. And on top of all that, she has this, she already has a record because when she was in college, she got pulled over for having weed in her car, and she ended up getting a record for that. But with that, there's a whole fallout that she has with her college friend who has now become the lawyer, and she was going to be a lawyer, but she ends up not taking her exam because she has this record. So yeah, so she reconnects with her friend, and there's a whole rift with that because she was just like, girl, you're living the life that I was supposed to live. But this is a mystery, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a very, very good time. I think I read this in a day. I had a very good time with this. Was it the best mystery that I've ever read in my life? No. Was it still a very good time? Yes. Did Bree get on my nerves? 100%. Bree got on my nerves so bad because Bree was so in love with Ty, and I was like, girl, I'm not gonna lie. If I was with a man for 3 months and then there was a murdered person in our living room, like he would be the last of my concerns. It's only been 3 months. Like I feel like we in a 90-day trial period. And I think murder is on the top of the list of I have nothing for you. Like we all on our own. I wish you the best, Ty, but I don't know you like that. Like not in 90 days. Sorry. So I read that. I had a very good time. Highly recommend when it comes out in April. I haven't read any other Kellye Garrett books. I think she does like the Hollywood Homicide series. So maybe I'll give that one a try. I think so far, if we're comparing it to last month in my reading month, I had a lot better of a reading month. So let's get into my next 3 books. And this is urban fiction. This is the Bruh Man series. Okay. And I don't know what made me pick up this book. I don't even know how this book came into my life. It's by Desiree. They're real short series. I don't even think they're up to like 200 pages each book. Yeah, they're like 130, 180 pages. But yeah, it's like I'm currently on book 3. I don't know how many books there are in this series, but this one is a mess. Is it the messy book? Is it one of the most messiest books that I read? Like, it might be. It might be one of the messiest books that I read this month. Elodie, she's a journalist, and she gets tasked to write the biography for this mogul rapper. Who could fit into that? A mogul rapper. Like a T.I.? I don't even want to say like a T.I. So he's like this rapper with a whole bunch of businesses, and he's just like the person of Atlanta, I guess. Anyway, so she's tasked to write this man's biography, and bruh man is just his name is Karan, but he's just like he's living a very wild life. Like he's living life on the edge, and Elodie can't keep up. Like Elodie's all like, this is too much. And what makes it even worse is that like Karan is not even like the craziest person in his family. He has like three sisters and a brother, and they're all crazy as well. Like the whole family is just too much. Like there's so much going on. There's like lies, deceit, cheating, like just a whole bunch of stuff. And Elodie, she keeps trying to escape, but she's getting sucked in because there's just so much drama. There's so much drama, and like It's almost like she signed herself off to the devil. So yeah, the series is just really following this family and Elodie being sucked into like the chaos of this family. And as she's like learning more of each of the family members, she's also learning about her mother, who she's never known, because Elodie she also comes from a very well-off family. She's kind of disowned because she's like the illegitimate child of an affair of her father. So she just kind of keeps her distance from her family. Yeah, but she starts to learn about her mother because she never really knew anything about her mother because she died giving birth to her, and her father never really talked about her. So yeah, she starts to learn about her mother, and then she also starts to learn about this family and all the like crazy back stuff that it's just crazy. It's crazy. There's like, I think there's 4 books. If you're looking for something to like pass by the time, I guess, something very, very messy, this might be for you. The next book I have is Last Stop from Innocence by Takerra Allen. And this one was one that Chocolate Covered Pages did a review on. And she was all like, oh, if you liked Fly Girl, a more elevated Fly Girl, then you'll like Last Stop from Innocence. And this one has an audiobook. I listened to the audiobook for preface. I reread Fly Girl and I did a review in one of my wrap-ups about Fly Girl and how that book hasn't aged well. But also, this is going to come up in another book that I read. As I'm rereading, specifically like Black fiction from the 90s, you have to come into it with a different mindset. There was just a specific way of thinking about life that we've elevated from, and I just need to stop being so critical. But yeah, Fly Girl, there was just a lot of not to go on a rant about how I was all like, how in the hell did I enjoy Fly Girl the first time around? But yeah, Tracy got on my nerves back then. She got on my nerves more now when I reread it. So yeah, but back to Last Stop from Innocence. Is it a more elevated Fly Girl? Yes, because I felt like the character had more depth and I didn't hate her and I understood where she was coming from. And when she made silly decisions, I felt like there was more growth. There was more growth in her as a character, in her decisions, and her being retrospective of her, coming into her womanhood. And while she was in, like Baby Girls in Jersey City in the 90s, wild times. But getting into this story follows this teenage girl. Her name is Amore. Her mother has died from cancer. So she ends up she already lives in Jersey. She lives in Somerville, New Jersey. She ends up moving to Jersey City, which, is like a hop and a skip away from New York City, with her dad, who she has had no relationship with up until this very point that she has to move in with him for the summer before she goes to Howard. So she's literally only staying with her dad for 2 months. So give context. This is for a summer. Yeah, summer is only 2 months. So she's only with this man for a summer. In this summer, not to give away this book, she ends up meeting Gabe. And Gabe is from Jersey City and he's in this bike gang. Is it a gang? I'm gonna say it's a bike gang. They're this bike crew, but they also like jack cars and stuff like that. So she ends up meeting Gabe. Her and Gabe end up falling for each other. She ends up reconnecting with her cousin Tammy, and Tammy is talking to a drug dealer named Paru. Pretty much is going through her in her summer, dealing with the grief of her mother, reconnecting with her father, having her first love with Gabe, and just like coming into her womanhood. And there's just a lot going on. Also, there's this whole murder aspect that there's these girls in the city that are missing and coming up dead, and nobody's doing anything about it. But either way, I was very like invested in the story. It was young love, but that was that story. I did have a good time. I did. And it is better than Fly Girl. It definitely is. And I think the critiques that I had of Fly Girl are resolved and done better in this story. But usually when like books take like a genre turn that is like very unexpected, usually I don't like it. It throws me off. It's not, 9 times out of 10 is not done that well. But I thought this one was done well. I thought it all wrapped together very well at the end. So yes, another book that I enjoyed. I would say listen to the audiobook. I had a good time with the audiobook. The last book. The last book I have on my list. This is just going to be a really, I'm not going to lie and act like I'm not going to go on a long rant about this book. So I read B-Boy Blues. B-Boy Blues. And I've seen, is it Casey Reed's? Casey Reed's, like, she picks a book from her shelf and she's all like, oh, you guys should read this. And she has done that. And then To Be Black and Loved, he did a review because in 2021, there was a movie that came out on this book, which I haven't watched it yet, but actually I'm lying. By the time you see this video, I will have watched it. I just can't give you the reaction now because past me hasn't watched this video, but hasn't watched this movie. But B-Boy Blues came out in 94. Yeah, B-Boy Blues came out in 94. It's by James Earl Hardy. And this story follows a black gay man in New York City named Mitch. And Mitch just loves love. Mitch loves love. And he's had a lot of lovers, you know, and all of them have not been great. But Mitch still loves love. And Mitch also loves B-boys. And to describe a B-boy, I think a B-boy is just hyper masculine men that are like the epitome of like the archetype of black men coolness. So he loves a B-boy. He loves a hyper masculine black man. And so much so that in the book, he like puts out this ad, which is it's just a little bit on the fetish side, on the fetishization of the hyper masculine black man. But anyway, he puts out this ad searching for a B-boy. He goes through this whole point in the book where he's sleeping with not random, but he's sleeping with men that he found in this ad that are B-boys. And he ends up actually meeting this B-boy in this club, and his name is, what is this man's name? Hello, editing Beauty here. I did not realize while recording that I said Rakim instead of Raheem. And I'm not going back. I'm not recording. I apologize in advance. And I don't know where my brain was at when and I said it multiple times. So I just wanted to put that out there that I'm aware that I have the wrong character's name. Rakim. He ends up meeting Rakim. And they end up, dating. And here's the thing that really killed me. Like, the book is only over the span of like 4 months. 4 months. So this is just going to be spoilers. It's going to be spoilers. I should have done a separate review on this book. But in the span of 4 months, he meets this man named Rakim. And baby, Rakim is just the epitome of a B-boy. Like, he is it. His friend Eugene is all like, boy, he is a playboy, like, leave him alone. But Mitch is just into it. Like, Mitch is head over heels with Rakim. Like, within a month, okay? Within a month, baby boy has found Rakim a whole job. He damn near moved into the damn apartment. He making him food. He washing his clothes. He eating up his food. Within a month and a half, he pops up with a kid. He pops a month and a half. They dating. He pops up with a kid. He finds out he had a kid. Rakim's only 23. Rakim's 23. Mitch is 27. Rakim pops up with like a whole 6 or 7 year old. Like, oh, I'm a dad. It's the way he did it. It's the way he's like, ooh, yeah, he pops up in this Jeep and he's like, I want you to meet somebody. And then he gets in a car and there's a whole child and he's all, this your child? And in my head, I was all like, how long have these people been together? They've only been together a month and a half. And he's all like, I love this man. Like, this is my man. And I'm just all like, it's been a month and a half. Like, 4 weeks go by fast. It do go by fast. Every time my rent comes around, I'm just like, wow, the time goes by fast. A month is not that long. 30 days. I'm still in the camp of 90 days. We still in probationary mode. Like, I don't know you, you don't know me. But no, a month and a half, he done already moved in. He done already met the kids. He done already found this man a job. The finding him a job was the one that blew me. Cause I was just like, damn, you on it. You on it in a month. So he meets Rakim. And And so much happens between them. I shouldn't be laughing, but so much happens between them. And each time there's just other people in the book that just are giving us a reference of time that it has not been that much time. Because his mom, so finally his mom was like, oh, I see you got a man. So that's another thing. Other people are like, oh, I see you got a man, because this must be Mitch's character. Mitch must be the type that, like, when he falls hard, and he just be disappearing off the face of the earth, and he's all the way 100% in. Because when he talks with other people in the book, they're all like, oh, we haven't heard from you, I guess you got a man. So I was like, oh, so this is just Mitch's character. Because we already get the preface in the beginning of the book that Mitch loves love. But it's the way Mitch loses himself. And what's so crazy, not what's crazy, but what's interesting is how heteronormative ideals of partnership, because when first of all, he's searching for a very hyper-masculine Black man. And two, when he's in these relationships, he very much falls into a feminine, I don't want to say feminine, but like within the heteronormative dynamic, like the more feminine assigned roles of relationship, cooking and cleaning. And so he's surprised that he's like a creative and that he is an intellectual, and all it's wild. It's wild times. I think the most wildest thing as we go into these spoilers is that one, the child was wild. Two, it's the domestic abuse. Okay. I think, because it can be there's verbal abuse and there's actual whole ass physical abuse. So the first one is when they're in the club with his friends, and Rakim is just like all up on his ex, like all up on like this. The ex had his whole hands in dude's pants. That's fighting right there. Like if a fight was gonna break out in the book, I wouldn't fight nobody. I would just leave. But like, if you're gonna fight over some, like that's fighting behavior. Like, you are crossing the whole entire line. Like, this is the line, and you are all the way like not even by it. Like, you just jumped, you leaped, you took a flight, and you flew over the line. Like, you just completely crossed it. So that was one thing. So, so then when Mitch decides to go talk to somebody else, then Rakim comes and gets very mad. Also, Rakim was just very controlling in a way that he wanted all the liberty to like move and be with whoever and talk to whoever and flirt with whoever. And then when Mitch turns around and just like has a nice little conversation with somebody, he's all like, why are you all up in my man's face? Like, very jealous, very jealous unnecessarily. So then they get into a whole argument about that because the dude comes up in his face, and then he whole curses out Mitch and calls him a whole bitch in his face. Like, completely dismisses him. And in my head, I'm just like, it's only been 2 months. I don't even think it's been 2 months at this point. It's only been 2 months. I was all like, all this wahala for a nigga you barely know. And it's barely been 2 months. It was wild-ish. And it only got wilder when Rakim punches Mitch in the face. Punches him, like square knocks him out in the face. Like, and it hasn't even been 4 months. And I just thought, like, this is too much. This is too much in too short period of a time. And all this, and Mitch is all like, but I love him. And I was like, Mitch, you don't know him. You don't know this man. You don't know this man. We don't really know a lot about. I mean, we kind of know some things about him, but we're always surprised because we don't know him. And also, like, Mitch has pretty much put him in this B-boy box. And maybe what brings him closer is when he realizes that he's not all, like, Rakim is not completely within that box. Because he's a whole ass human being. He's a whole ass human being. And it just blows my mind. It blows my mind that this all happened in 4 months. And at the end, they still somehow end up together. And also, when all these conflicts happen, I didn't expect to talk this much about this book. But when all these conflicts happen, they barely talk about it. Like, when baby boy whole knocks you out and y'all don't talk, and they go through sprints, it's only been 4 months. And they go through like 2 weeks of not speaking to one another. So it's not like they were really together for the whole complete 4 months. Y'all don't know each other. And this is the 90s. So when you gone, you gone. Like, if I can't call you or page you, like, it's not like I can creep on your Facebook. Baby boy, you gone. Like, you ghost. Like, you ghost for real. I was flabbergasted. I'm still going to watch the movie because I heard the movie kind of resolves some things. Hello, Editing Judy here, who has, since I filmed this, watched the B-Boy Blues movie. I wish it was on more than just BET Plus, because I thought it was a really done adaptation of a book. And usually I hate book adaptations because the things that we would have wanted resolved in the book aren't resolved, and the things that they take out of the book are the things that made the book special. But I think this was a really nice adaptation of this book, and I think it really delved into or answered some of the questions that I was contending with when reading it, like Mitch's fetishization of b-boys. It fleshes out just a little bit more the timeline of Mitch and Raheem meeting and their relationship, so it's not as fast. And I think that everybody was really well casted. I could, but it was hard for me to imagine what exactly a b-boy was. But when I saw the guy that played Raheem in the movie, I was all like, this is it. Very well casted. BD was my favorite. In the book, Toni Braxton is mentioned a lot, and as someone who loves Toni Braxton, I thoroughly enjoyed that. So I think in BD's character, when he does he does a little scene like singing a run like Toni Braxton, I really enjoyed that. But overall, I really enjoyed the film. And if I don't say it in this video, do read the book. It was very entertaining. And do watch the film. And if you don't read the book, still watch the film. The film was really good. So back to the video. And also, Mitch is just a little bit bougie and elitist. And during Gay Pride, when he kind of like others himself from the other people of the queer community, like he was like, I'm gay, but I don't be out here doing drag and bondage. Like, y'all be putting us all together, but they're a minority. Like they over there and I'm here. And then also the whole conversation with the N-word. You know, I don't think there's not actually that many books of like this of its time even now. Like I can't think of anything contemporary or after this that speaks to the same community, and the book still reads very much like it doesn't. There are some dated parts. It is a book of its time, but still, like, it still speaks to, I think, an audience that is not still to this day regularly spoken to. But either way, I had a very good time with B-Boy Blues, and this is a series, so I think there's like maybe 5 or 6 books in the series. I don't know if I'm gonna read the rest of the series, y'all. This was a very entertaining read, but it took a lot. It took a lot out of me. I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I added it to my repertoire. If it's not on your repertoire, if you haven't read it yet, I will say, if you're not like a spicy girl, there was some, I don't think it is as spicy as, you know, some of the other stuff y'all be saying, you know, is the ish. But yeah, it was a lot, especially the audiobook. Don't listen to it at work out loud. That's all I'm gonna say. But either way, I still had a good time. I think there was some good discussion points within the book. And I just had a lot of thoughts. And there's not that many like review and commentary on this. But anyways, that is all I read for this month. I didn't mean to speak so long about B-Boy Blues, but it was a lot. Anyway, let me know what you read for the month of January. Until the next time, guys, deuces.